What's up? Rupert here, Grounded Permaculture, back with episode 5 in the MoonShot Series, coming to you from the beautiful Numbaba Valley in the top swale of our first Regenerative Living Hub. In episode 4, I unpacked the threefold problem. Renters trapped in a transactional and extractive nightmare. Landholders drowning in money pits with no roadmap or economic engine. And investors chasing shadows trying to preserve their wealth with no real impact. I presented our threefold solution, Regenerative Living Hubs, founded on a shared vision and values, separating ownership from operations, and engineering a win-win-win symbiosis for all stakeholders involved. But an orchestrated symphony such as this requires solid structure to keep it going, invisible structures. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into in this episode. We're going to unpack the relational, organizational, and financial structures, the invisible framework that makes it real, resilient, and regenerative in the long term. Let's break it down. Now, the base layer of any human coordination is relational. Relationships are the foundation. Ultimately, we just want to work with people that we know, like, and trust. But trust takes time to build, and so that layer of organization on its own can be very limiting. As humans, we've created other layers atop of that to help facilitate interactions between strangers and give a solid reference point for those long-lasting and deep relationships that do flourish over time. The primary framework that we have in place to support this layer of organization is our holistic context that supports holistic decision-making by making sure everyone's on the same page with a shared vision and values. Now, this is not some corporate document that sits on the shelf and gathers dust. It's a living document that gets updated over time, and it's been battle-tested over the last 7 years of running this hub and 10 years as a not-for-profit organization. And we don't just have one holistic context. We have several, all nested within each other. We have one for the farmhouse, one for the creek flat, one for the hub in general, one for the organization. We have several of them for the different activities that the organization gets up to. Now, this doesn't mean that we don't have conflict. Absolutely, that comes up all the time. But it gives us a reference point to navigate through that conflict. And in addition to that, we've got an excellent conflict resolution protocol. You can get it on our website that we've developed over the years. It integrates sociocracy, nonviolent communication, and this framework for holistic decision-making. Again, it's a living document that we actively use and refine over time because conflict in community is inevitable, in business as well. But that's not the end point. The end point is how we go about resolving it. So we have all these structures and systems in place to support us at that relational level. At the next layer, we have the organizational structures. Now, on one side, we have Grounded Permaculture Action Party, our not-for-profit incorporated associations, and all of our activities run through this not-for-profit. It's an excellent structure, and it has the lease on this hub as well. But it's limited in its capacity to raise private equity from investors. So a few years ago, when the owner of this site expressed his interest to sell but wanted to give us the option to purchase it, I set up a for-profit private holding company, essentially a sister company to Grounded, with myself and Grounded as the founders. A company with the explicit purpose to acquire scarce, desirable rural assets, underutilized, with high potential, and then lease them to proven operators like Grounded, as we currently do at Hub Number 1. Like the cafe site just over there that we're pivoting to with the tight timeline to acquire. Now, as a holding company, it doesn't do any business, so it doesn't have any operating expenses. It does have some outgoings, but the scope of its decision-making is limited to which assets do we acquire, what's the vision and the master plan for the site, who are we going to lease it to, and what standards do we want them to manage it at. This structure preserves and grows capital for shareholders through its holdings and generates income on those assets by issuing leases to proven operators like Grounded. Then we layer in the Regenerative Covenants to really raise the bar and set the standard in how the place is managed. You get ecosystem uplift, livelihood growth, infrastructure care and co-investment. Proficient operators are rewarded with longer-term leases, more permanence on site, and deeper collaboration over time. Okay, let's talk about the financial structures. By the end of this campaign, we aim to have 2.3 million cash on the balance sheet. We're going to do that through the issuance of 23 shares. 6 of them are already allocated to investors that have been on board for a few years now, so there's only 17 left. It's 4% equity per share. We're selling 92% equity in the company, leaving 8% for Grounded and myself as co-founders, 1 share each, bringing a decade's worth of intellectual, experiential, and cultural capital to the table. Of that 2.3 million raised, it will take 1.9 to close the deal on this cafe. Stamp duty is 86 grand. We've got $100,000 for CapEx investment in the first year to build out the recreation facility and first 3 glamping sites. And it gives us 300,000 in liquid reserves that are spread across 3 buckets: low, medium, and high risk, to maintain resilience for the company. Investors own shares in the company, and the company owns the assets. As a side note, we're also looking at possibly setting up a unit trust with the company as the corporate trustee. To be confirmed. I'll update you on that. Now for the cash flow returns over time. Firstly, there's the income from the lease, which grows from 50 grand in year 1 to 200 grand in year 3. At the moment, I've set it as a percentage of operational income on the site, starting at 11% and then growing to 20% over time. This cafe has been abandoned for 6 years, and so it's going to take a little bit of time and work to get it up and running. More on that in the later episodes. But fortunately, it's fully renovated and stocked with all the equipment we need to start trading on day 1. And the numbers stack up quickly. This is a prime asset in a high tourist location. Some of you may have heard of the Sawmill Cafe that was operating down the road about 10 k's away over the last few years. It's recently closed, but I was involved in the setup of that, and I know the numbers. It's doing about 5,000 per week just on the weekend day trade. These numbers are confirmed by my neighbors who were looking at this cafe we're looking to buy in 2021 when it was up for sale, when the current owner bought it, and they saw the books from the previous cafe pre-COVID. They were doing 10K a week in revenue. That's $500,000 a year. Now these guys were also capturing the night trade, all the tourist traffic going up to the glowworms, which we're going to bring online by 6 months. So by our conservative projections, we're talking about 400,000 in revenue in year 1, 50 grand of that going to the lease, and then it growing over time. Now in that first year, we spend 100 grand, build the recreation facility in the first 3 glamping sites. So from year 1, we're projecting conservatively 20 grand per site in income. Then we start bringing on 3 more sites every 6 months, right up to the community hall when it's activated at 3 years. With 20 grand per glamping site, 5% growth, and the community hall, this quickly turns into a $1 million operation, with 20% of that going to the company as lease payments. We're talking about a 6% net yield on your share after all outgoings. Now this net yield also factors in the CapEx required over the first few years to bring on the other glamping sites and the community hall. The cool thing about our model, when we do these leases and longer terms, it allows for a deeper collaboration and co-investment. We're talking 50-50 split between tenant and the owner for those CapEx investments. So as an investor, you see capital growth on your share going from 100 today, 108 in year 1, 127 by year 4. That's a 27% growth over 4 years. Works out to be about 6.5% compound annual growth rate. Meanwhile, the liquid reserves are sitting on the sideline, generating anywhere from 10 to 15% per annum, creating contingencies for the company, and if done well, accumulating the balance sheet to be then leveraged to acquire new sites in the future. This isn't speculation. It's a secure stake in assets that generate cash flow, capital growth, and regenerative impact. Under this model, if done right, we can create a situation where each site never need be sold again, never having to go back into the hands of the bankers who charge interest every time a property is sold and they issue a mortgage for it. If an investor gets to their time when they're ready to exit, they can sell their share to the next person, or the company can buy it back from its liquid reserves. Meanwhile, tenants guarantee their permanence through good stewardship and stacked enterprises. So that's a bit of an overview of the organized invisible structures. I'm sure this probably brings up heaps more questions, and that's exactly what the next episode is going to be all about. I'm going to answer many of the frequently asked questions around this model and some of the doubts, concerns, and objections to it. If you got some value out of this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you got some questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them and integrate them into the next episode. It's a tight timeline, 27 days and counting, to raise the funds to acquire site number 2. Meanwhile, the MoonShot series rolls on. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.